Hi, this is Shane Starr, and today we are doing our ninth and last in a series of 9 videos about activating your inner Enneagram. Today we are doing Enneagram 9, and the philosophical author on our list today is none other than the great Marcus Aurelius. We will be looking at the Meditations, one of the most famous works in history, I think, and we'll be looking for some insights that are specific to type 9. Now, true to form, our strategy here is self-improvement, and we do that not by looking at your core type, but rather the type adjacent to your type, like that is your wings. So today, if you are an 8 with a 9 wing, or a 1 with a 9 wing, or you have a 7 wing or a 2 wing and you need to make that 9 wing stronger, this video is for you. Also, if you are 6 who wants to integrate and be the best self that you can be, the arrow of integration to 9 comes from 6. So if you're a 6 trying for self-improvement, this video will help you. This video is special to me in a way because I think out of all the Enneagram types, 9 is the one that looks most difficult for me. Even, through this series, even though it's like public on YouTube, there's a lot of inner working and sort of psychological, even spiritual type therapy going on when I'm doing these videos. And I think, in large part, I can find sections of each that have helped me. But it's this one, perhaps more than any of the others, that I look at and I think, wow, I need some work here. I have none of these characteristics that make a healthy 9. And I don't know if that's because I self-type as a 1 with a 2 wing and I need to strengthen that 9 wing, or if it's because some people have suggested maybe I'm a self-preservation 3, and even though it's an arrow of disintegration to 9, maybe a 9 is what's missing in my life. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, in my particular case, and I hope if you watch my videos, you find one that works like this for you. When I did the work for this video, I was just like looking at it, shaking my head going, wow, I need what healthy 9s have. That is the biggest thing missing in my life through the lens of Enneagram. Okay, so let's take a look and see what a healthy 9 looks like. I'm using this Personality Types book by Richard Riso and Russ Hudson. There's other better books for other tasks, but for this particular series, I've enjoyed using this book. Okay, so type 9, this is what it looks like in health. Deeply receptive, which I'm not. Deeply accepting, which I'm not. Unself-conscious, which I'm not. Emotionally stable and serene, which I'm not. 0 for 5 so far. Trusting of self and others. There we go again. At ease with self and life. Innocent and simple. Patient and unpretentious. Good-natured. Genuinely nice. See, I can be nice, but is it genuine? Imaginative and creative, attuned to nonverbal communication. Optimistic, reassuring, supportive. Have a healing and calming influence. Harmonizing groups, bringing people together, a good mediator, synthesizer, and communicator. At their best, they become self-possessed, feeling autonomous and fulfilled. They have great equanimity and contentment because they are present to themselves. Paradoxically, at one with self, they are thus able to form more profound relationships, more alive, awake, and alert to self and others. Everything that I'm not. So enough about me. Let's move on to Enneagram 9. So that's what an Enneagram 9 looks like in health. Genuinely patient, secure, calm people that sort of spread that sense of comfort and calm to the people around them. Now, in comes Marcus Aurelius. So I have some notes on his life. We all know him as a Stoic philosopher, perhaps the most famous Stoic philosopher, but he was really royalty. You know, he wasn't just a philosopher. He was born into a wealthy and influential family around, I would say, roughly like 90 years after Christ left us. He received his date. He was emperor from 161 to 180 Common Era. So he was born in 121. Okay, we don't know exactly when he died, but we think that he died around 180 Common Era. Okay, so in any case, Marcus Aurelius he had a wealthy family, received a privileged education. He excelled in subjects like Greek and Latin. He developed a deep interest in Stoicism from a young age. He was recognized for his intellect and character, and he was adopted by Emperor Hadrian's chosen successor, Antonius, at age 17, and he himself was trained to become emperor himself. So he reigned for 20 years from 161 to his death. He wrote several notes and meditations, the most famous of which, again, are his meditations. I've had this book since college, and it is something of a Bible to me. It's a wonderful book. I think the best introduction to this book is to just read off the back cover. I mean, again, most people know of the meditations. They were written in Greek. He was the only Roman philosopher who was also an emperor. And this book offers a series of challenging spiritual reflections and exercises that the emperor used to help understand himself better and make sense of the universe. So it covers a wide variety of topics, which we'll get into right now. But again, I would put this, there's the Bible, and then there's Shakespeare, and there's this. That's like the top three of like the holy grail in literature, if you ask me. So what are some things, given what we said about a healthy Enneagram 9, because most of us would associate Marcus Aurelius with maybe virtue and the good sides of 1, or maybe power and a healthy 8. I chose 9 for a reason. Think of a healthy 9 when you hear these quotes, okay? I picked several of them. So more than any of our other videos in this series, we're doing quotes from the book, because that'll give us the best value for our time here. Here we go. First quote. Say to yourself, first thing in the morning, today I shall meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, aggressive, treacherous, malicious, unsocial. All this has afflicted them through their ignorance of true good and evil. But I've seen that the nature of good is what is right, and the nature of evil what is wrong. And I have reflected that the nature of the offender himself is akin to my own. Not a kinship of blood or seed, but a sharing of the same mind, the same fragment of divinity. People don't like to say that Aurelius believed in God, but it's clear from his writing. You know, he wasn't a Christian, no, but there's nothing in his work that contradicts Christianity as far as I can see. But Back to the quote, therefore I cannot be harmed by any of these evildoers, as none will infect me with their wrong, nor can I be angry with them or hate them. We were born for cooperation, like feet, hands, eyelids, teeth. So to work in opposition to one another is against nature, and anger or rejection is opposition. Again, this peace, that's the key word to take from all of this, peace. Enneagram 9 and Stoicism exemplified by Marcus Aurelius, peace, be at peace with others. More quotes. Each of us lives only in the present moment, a mere fragment of time. The rest, past or future, is either beyond our reach in the past or uncertain in the future. Think about that. I'm going to stop that quote right there. Healthy nines are always present. They don't spend much time in resentment like ones, and they don't spend all their time in a happy-go-lucky future like sevens. Nines are present. They have peace. They go with the flow. They live in the moment, and that's one of their greatest gifts to the rest of us. Here's what he says about fame. Well then, will a little fame distract you? Look at the speed of universal oblivion, the gulf of immeasurable time, both before and after, the vacuity of applause, the indiscriminate fickleness of your apparent supporters, the tiny room which this is all confined. The whole earth is a mere tiny point in space. What a minute cranny within this is your own habitation, and how many and what sort will sing your praises here. As much as this is caution against the three's tendency to seek acclaim and praise, it's genuinely nine in the sense to not be affected by those things. Praising something doesn't change it for what it is, and neither do criticisms. Things are what they are. Praise or criticisms just superfluous to those things. And on that line, he says, does an emerald lose its quality if not praised? What of gold, ivory, purple, and lyre, a dagger, a flower, a bush? None of these things loses their quality through people's opinions of them. Moving forward, more quotes. Love is the art which you have learned, and take comfort in it. Through the remainder of your life, in sincere commitment of all your being to the gods, never making yourself a tyrant or slave to any man. Love your art, love your work. There's almost a Buddhist type of self-acceptance here. Look at where you are in life and be at peace with it. If you believe in God, God has you where you're at for a reason. If you don't believe in God, you're where you're supposed to be, given the mechanisms of the universe to which you belong. Either way, those statements aren't much different, are they? Be at peace, again. Another quote, when you are reluctant to get up from your sleep, remind yourself that it is your constitution and man's nature to perform social acts and work, whereas sleep is something you share with dumb animals. Now, what accords with the nature of each being is therefore more closely related to it, the more in its essence, and indeed the more to its liking. Every living organism is fulfilled when it follows the right path for its own nature. Another great thing, nines, I love this acceptance of the status quo, to a point. Of course, there are times and circumstances where we need to change, and maybe other personality types are better for that. But nines can, sevens aspire to this by trying to reframe bad things into good things, but nines are excellent at just being calm and at peace and accepting and making the best of what they have, instead of fretting about what happened and being anxious or scared about what's going to happen. I love that about nines. I'd say one last quote, and that this is almost as 9 as it gets. When another blames you or hates you, or people voice similar criticisms, go to their souls, penetrate inside, and see what sort of people they are. You will realize that there's no need to be racked with anxiety that they should hold any particular opinion about you, but you should still be kind to them. They are by nature your friends, and the gods too help them in various ways, dreams and divination, at least to the objects of their concern. In other words, we can't care too much about what people think of us. If someone despises you, that's their concern, that's their problem, right? Be kind to everyone, live at peace so much as you're able to, and you will have a better life. Thus says Marcus Aurelius, and I love his philosophy, I really do. So what can we learn from our surface knowledge of Enneagram 9 combined with Marcus Aurelius' meditations and bringing about the best of your inner Enneagram 9? Focus on being a peacemaker and mediator. And this starts with being at peace with yourself and mediating your own unresolved conflicts. So learn to be at peace. Which comes with that is a frame of mind that is accepting and open-minded. Try, sounds like an Enneagram 1 quote, take the plank out of your own eye before looking at the speck in your brother or sister's eye. Be open-minded, look in the mirror first before you find fault with others. Stay calm and grounded, practice this, whatever it takes. The very title of Aurelius's work, Meditations, it's something I never do. It's something maybe I should do. Prayer tends to be my meditation, but maybe there's more to that. Even as a Christian, when I look at the Gospels, when Jesus prayed, he didn't just sit there and pray like me. He went off somewhere private or took a couple people with him. He made a thing out of it. It was like a meditation, not only a prayer. Okay, so if you are religious, combine meditation with your prayer. If you're not religious, seek some sort of meditation to help keep yourself calm and grounded. The more you practice this, the better it will stay with you when you're on the spot. People who miss free throws in basketball, it's like, oh, why I choked under pressure. And the people who don't choke are the ones who are shooting 500 free throws, practicing when no one else is around. Then when they're on the spot, they can do it. Staying emotionally regulated and calm and composed and grounded, it's not about doing that on the spot. It's about a lifestyle. It's about something bigger, so that when you are on the spot, it's like, I'm ready for this. This is what I do every day. And you can go into that peaceful frame of mind and be okay with it. Be adaptable and easygoing. Don't be so picky and judgmental like some of us, Try to be adaptable to other people's wants and needs and be easygoing. Go ahead and eat somewhere that wasn't your first choice. Go ahead and accept a gift graciously that you might not have picked for yourself. If someone asks you for a favor at work or at home, go ahead and say yes and go along with it. There's nothing wrong with helping people. That's what we're called to do. I think it's common to every religion and philosophy out there is to be kind to others. And part of that kindness means being adaptable and easygoing. And through all of this, be content and optimistic. Some of us, again, wear our feelings on our faces and are quick to anger, quick to be impatient, quick to be frustrated. I would say my most common emotion is a sort of combo of impatience and frustration. waiting in line, waiting at a red light, waiting for the computer to hurry up and reload, always in a rush, rushing to get to work, then rushing to get home, then rushing to get back to work. When does it all end? I think the key is in nine-ness. Learning how to be at peace and calm, being content and optimistic, putting away those frustrations, knowing that not only in 100 years, but in 100 seconds, it's not going to matter anymore. So don't let it stick to you and ruin your day. Try to be helpful to others, and that means making time for others first and foremost, and being a good listener. Nines are great listeners. That's something else I can learn from them, and I hope you can too. I think that's all I have. I'm going to use this lesson for myself and try to better myself by unlocking my own inner Enneagram 9. Once I unlock that little tiny seed, I'm going to water it and take care of it and hopefully watch it grow. And little by little, we'll make it and get to where we need to be. That's all I have for today. Thanks. I think I'm going to do a series on the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene next, and I'm going to link those to probably the Enneagram. And that's all for today. Peace out.